Admiral Maya Patel stood motionless on the observation deck of Earth's orbital station, her weathered face reflecting in the reinforced glass as she watched the massive ship being towed into dock. The vessel was a monument to decay, its hull scarred by centuries of cosmic debris, its once proud weapons arrays now nothing more than twisted metal sculptures against the backdrop of stars. "They call this a gift," she muttered, her fingers tightening around the datapad containing the Kraxan Empire's message. The aliens' diplomatic correspondence dripped with false courtesy, but the insult was clear. "Here's our garbage, primitive humans. This is all you deserve." The Kraxan Empire had dominated the galactic arm for millennia, their crystalline ships and quantum weaponry the envy of 100 species. Humanity, barely a century into faster-than-light travel, was seen as little more than an amusing footnote in their grand civilization. "Admiral," called out Commander Ryan Foster, approaching from behind. "Engineering teams are ready to begin preliminary scans. Though frankly, I'm not sure why we're bothering. That thing looks ready for the scrapyard." Maya turned to face her second-in-command, a slight smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "The Kraxans think they're clever, Ryan. They think this heap of metal will crush our spirits, make us accept our place at the bottom of their precious hierarchy." She walked to the holographic display, showing the ship's massive skeleton. Even in its decrepit state, the vessel was larger than anything humanity had ever constructed. Its hull was made of materials their scientists had only theorized about, and its drive system, even if currently inactive, represented technology centuries beyond Earth's capabilities. "But they've made a crucial mistake," Maya continued, her dark eyes gleaming with determination. "They've given us something we've never had before, direct access to their technology. Not glimpses in battle, not scans from a distance, but a real Kraxan warship we can take apart piece by piece." The ship's name was still visible through the corrosion. Forgotten Victory, in the flowing script of the Kraxan language. Maya had already decided they would keep the name. It would make their eventual triumph all the sweeter. "Get me Chief Engineer Torres," she commanded, and moments later, Jack Torres's hologram appeared before them. His usual neat appearance was already showing signs of disorder, likely from hours of preliminary analysis. "Admiral," he reported, excitement barely contained in his voice. "You need to see this. The quantum core, it's unlike anything in our records. The Kraxans clearly thought it was dead, but there's something different about it. Something they might have missed." Maya's smile widened. "Different how?" "The core's crystalline structure has somehow adapted to its centuries of neglect. It's not degraded, it's evolved, and our initial tests suggest it's responding to human neural patterns in ways that—" He paused, shaking his head in disbelief. "In ways it never responded to Kraxan operators." Commander Foster leaned forward, his skepticism evident. "Are you saying this junk heap might actually be useful?" "I'm saying," Torres replied, his eyes shining with possibility, "that the Kraxans might have accidentally given us exactly what we needed. The quantum core's evolution. It's like it's been waiting for us. We just need to understand how to wake it up." Maya turned back to the viewport, watching as docking clamps secured the massive vessel. Teams of workers in spacesuits already swarmed around it like busy ants, beginning their assessment. The Kraxans would be watching, of course. Their sensor arrays would be trained on Earth, waiting to see humanity struggle with their gift, waiting for the moment of despair when we realized how far behind we truly were. "They think they know us," Maya said softly. "They think they understand human nature. But they've never really paid attention to our history, have they? They don't understand what humans can do when handed an impossible challenge." She activated the station's general broadcast system. "This is Admiral Patel to all engineering and research teams. As of this moment, Project Phoenix is initiated. The Kraxans have given us their cast-offs, expecting us to break. Instead, we're going to show them something they've never seen before. We're going to show them humanity's greatest talent, taking the impossible and making it look easy." As her words echoed through the station, Maya watched the first lights flicker to life within the ancient hull of the forgotten Victory. The Craxon's joke was about to become their worst nightmare, and she intended to savor every moment of their realization. Chief Engineer Jack Torres stood in the cavernous engine room of the forgotten Victory, surrounded by holographic displays showing the quantum core's bizarre energy patterns. 3 weeks had passed since the ship's arrival, and each day brought new surprises that defied conventional physics. "Run the neural interface test again," he called out to Dr. Aisha Rodriguez, his lead quantum specialist. She sat cross-legged on the deck, surrounded by a maze of diagnostic equipment, her dark hair tied back in a messy bun after hours of intense work. "Jack, this is the 7th time today," she protested, but her fingers were already dancing across the control surface. "The results aren't going to." She stopped mid-sentence, her eyes widening at the readings. "That's impossible." The quantum core pulsed with a soft blue light, its crystalline structure seeming to ripple like water. What had initially appeared to be decay was revealing itself as something far more profound. The core had spent centuries in a state of quantum evolution, developing patterns that no Craxon engineer had ever documented. "Look at the resonance patterns," Jack said, moving closer to the core's containment chamber. "It's not just responding to human neural signatures, it's attempting to synchronize with them." The Craxons could never have noticed this because their brain patterns are fundamentally different from ours. Aisha pulled up comparative scans. Their crystalline-based neural structure, they're too similar to the core itself. But human brains, our organic electrochemical patterns, they're creating some kind of quantum harmonic we don't even have words for yet. The discovery had started by accident. A junior technician had been scanning the core while wearing a neural interface designed for Earth's ships. The interface had sparked to life, creating a momentary connection that sent ripples of energy through the entire vessel. What the Craxons had dismissed as a dead core was actually in a state of dormancy, waiting for the right kind of neural pattern to awaken it. Admiral Patel's voice came through the comm system. "Torres, please tell me you have something good. The Craxon ambassador is demanding another inspection visit." Jack smiled, his eyes never leaving the core's shifting patterns. "Tell them to come. In fact, I insist on giving the tour myself. They're about to learn that their understanding of quantum mechanics has some serious gaps." "Explain," Patel commanded. "The Craxons built their entire civilization on quantum technology, but they've been limited by their own biology. Their crystalline neural patterns, they can only interface with their technology in specific rigid ways. But human minds..." He paused, watching as another test cycle completed. "We're chaos incarnate to their ordered systems, and this core, it's learned to crave that chaos." Commander Foster's voice joined the conversation. "Are you saying we can control their technology better than they can?" "Not exactly," Aisha cut in, excitement clear in her voice. "We can do something they never even imagined was possible. The core doesn't want to be controlled, it wants to collaborate. It's been evolving towards a form of quantum intelligence that can only fully activate through interaction with human consciousness." In the weeks since they'd begun work, the engineering team had made another startling discovery. The ship's apparent deterioration was actually a form of metamorphosis. The quantum core's evolution had been gradually altering the vessel's entire structure at the subatomic level, preparing it for a transformation that the Craxons, with their rigid thinking and crystalline tech, could never have initiated. "We're going to need every neural interface we can get our hands on," Jack said, already running calculations in his head. "And I want every human pilot with high psi sensitivity ratings transferred to this project immediately. We're not just going to repair this ship, we're going to wake it up." Admiral Patel was silent for a moment, likely processing the implications. "How long until we can demonstrate something concrete? The Craxons are getting suspicious of our activity around their gift." Jack shared a look with Aisha, who nodded confidently. "Give us 2 weeks to complete the initial neural integration protocols. When the Craxons come for their inspection, we'll give them a demonstration they'll never forget. They thought they were giving us outdated tech. Instead, they've handed us the key to a completely new form of quantum mechanics. 2 weeks, Patel confirmed. Whatever resources you need, you'll have them. And Taurus, make it impressive. I want to see those smug crystalline faces crack when they realize what they've actually given us. As the communication ended, Jack turned back to the quantum core. Its pulses were growing stronger, more rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. The Kraxans had created this technology, but they'd never truly understood its potential. Their rigid, crystalline minds couldn't conceive of the evolutionary paths their quantum systems might take when exposed to centuries of isolation and entropy. Aisha, he called out, get the neural interface array online. We're going to try something new. He picked up his own interface helmet, watching the quantum core's light patterns shift in response to his proximity. Let's show this ship what human minds can really do. The core's glow intensified, as if in anticipation. In 2 weeks, the Kraxans would return, expecting to find humans struggling with their broken gift. Instead, they would witness the birth of something entirely new, a fusion of human consciousness and quantum technology that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The day of reckoning arrived sooner than expected. Admiral Patel stood in the newly constructed Neural Command Center aboard the Forgotten Victory, watching as dozens of Earth's most gifted pilots connected to their interface stations. Each wore a modified neural helmet, their minds about to attempt something unprecedented in galactic history. The Kraxan delegation will be here in 6 hours, Commander Foster reported, his usual skepticism replaced by nervous energy. Their latest message was condescending. They're expecting to find us defeated. Status of the quantum fusion? Patil asked, her eyes fixed on the main display where Jack Torres and Aisha Rodriguez made final adjustments to the neural network. All pilots are in position, Jack responded, his voice tense with concentration. The core's response is already stronger than anything we've seen in testing. It's like it knows what we're about to attempt. The plan was audacious, perhaps even reckless. Rather than trying to restore the ship to its original Kraxan specifications, they would attempt to completely transform it using the evolved quantum core's unique response to human consciousness. 30 pilots would link their minds simultaneously, creating a neural network powerful enough to fully awaken the dormant intelligence within the ship's systems. Beginning neural synchronization, Aisha announced. The quantum core's pulsing light filled the chamber with an ethereal blue glow. First wave of pilots connecting. Now. The effect was immediate and stunning. The ship's internal lights flickered and changed color, shifting from standard illumination to a deep resonant purple. The quantum core's crystal structure began to emit a harmonic tone that seemed to vibrate through the very fabric of reality. Second wave, connecting. Jack called out. More pilots joined the neural network, their minds linking with the ship's evolving consciousness. The vessel's hull began to change at the molecular level, decades of apparent decay transforming into something entirely new. What had appeared to be rust and deterioration revealed itself as a chrysalis, now breaking apart to reveal gleaming new surfaces beneath. Energy readings are off the scale, Aisha reported, her voice filled with wonder. The quantum field is expanding exponentially. This is beyond anything we theorized. Admiral Patel watched as the transformation spread through the ship like a wave of liquid metal. The Kraxan's gift was becoming something that had never existed before, a hybrid of their quantum technology and humanity's chaotic creativity. The rigid crystalline structures were flowing into organic curves, the ship's very nature changing to reflect the consciousness of its new human partners. Final wave of pilots, engaging now, Jack announced. The last group of neural interfaces activated, and the ship's transformation accelerated. Weapon systems that had appeared destroyed reconstructed themselves into configurations that defied conventional physics. The engine core, once thought dead, erupted with new power that sent ripples through space-time itself. Admiral, one of the sensor operators called out, we're detecting quantum signatures that don't match any known configuration. The ship isn't just repairing itself. It's evolving into something completely new. The transformation reached its peak as all 30 pilots achieved full synchronization. The Forgotten Victory's hull now gleamed with a material that seemed to shift between solid metal and pure energy. The quantum core's light had spread throughout the entire vessel, making it appear as if it was built from captured starlight. "Neural network is stable," Aisha reported, her voice filled with disbelief. "The ship, it's not just responding to us, it's thinking with us. The quantum intelligence has fully awakened." Jack Torres stepped back from his console, staring at the readings in amazement. "Admiral, the ship's capabilities, they're beyond anything we imagined." The Kraxen's quantum technology was already advanced, but combined with human consciousness, it's become something entirely new, something that's never existed before in the galaxy. Admiral Patel allowed herself a small smile. "How long until we can demonstrate its capabilities to our generous benefactors?" "The transformation is completing now," Jack replied. "But Admiral, I don't think we should show them everything. The ship's true potential. It would cause panic in the Kraxen Empire if they knew what their gift has become." "Agreed," Patel nodded. "We'll give them a demonstration, but nothing that reveals the full extent of what we've achieved. Let them think they understand what's happened here. Their assumptions about human limitations have always been their greatest weakness." As the final changes rippled through the ship, the neural network stabilized into a permanent connection between human consciousness and quantum intelligence. The Forgotten Victory had become something unprecedented, a living ship that fought and fought with its human crew, rather than simply being controlled by them. "The Kraxen delegation will be here soon," Commander Foster reminded them. "Should we power down, try to hide some of these changes?" Admiral Patel shook her head. "No. Let them see that we've restored their gift. Let them think they understand what we've accomplished. Their arrogance will blind them to the truth until it's too late." The transformed ship hummed with power, its quantum core pulsing in perfect harmony with the human minds connected to it. In a few hours, the Kraxens would arrive expecting to find humans struggling with obsolete technology. Instead, they would witness the first demonstration of a power they had inadvertently helped create, a power that would soon reshape the balance of the galaxy. High Ambassador Crix of the Kraxen Empire stood in the observation chamber, his crystalline features failing to hide his growing unease. What should have been a moment of triumph, watching primitive humans struggle with obsolete technology, had instead become something unexpected. The ship before him bore little resemblance to the derelict vessel his empire had gifted to Earth. "Impossible," he whispered, the word crystallizing in the air as his species was prone to do when agitated. "You cannot have done this." Admiral Patel stood beside him, carefully maintaining a neutral expression. "We're grateful for your empire's generous gift, Ambassador. We've learned so much from studying your technology. Perhaps you'd like a demonstration of what we've achieved." The ambassador's escort, a contingent of Kraxen military officers, shifted uncomfortably. Their sensor devices were recording everything, trying to understand how the humans had not only restored the ship, but transformed it into something that their instruments couldn't quite categorize. "Proceed," Crix commanded, his tone suggesting he expected failure. Jack Torres, monitoring from the Neural Command Center, gave the signal. The 30 pilots connected to the ship's systems opened their minds fully to the quantum intelligence they'd awakened. The Forgotten Victory responded instantly, its hull shimming with energy as it broke free from its docking clamps without any visible propulsion. "Impossible," one of the Kraxen officers repeated, watching as the ship moved with fluid grace that defied their understanding of quantum mechanics. "Our records show the quantum core was completely dead." "Was it?" Admiral Patel asked innocently. "How interesting." "Commander Foster, perhaps we should demonstrate the ship's maneuverability." The Forgotten Victory executed a series of movements that should have been impossible for a vessel of its size. It spun, twisted, and phased through space in ways that had the Kraxen officers frantically checking their instruments. The ship wasn't just moving, it was dancing, celebrating its rebirth, with a display of power that bordered on artistic. "The neural interface systems," Crix demanded, his crystalline form vibrating with tension. "Show me how you're controlling it." Admiral Patel led the delegation to the Neural Command Center, where they could see the human pilots connected to their interface stations. The Kraxan's reaction was immediate, a ripple of crystalline chimes that indicated deep distress. "This is forbidden," one of the officers declared. "Organic minds cannot directly interface with quantum systems. The instabilities would be catastrophic with Kraxan neural patterns." Jack interrupted, unable to hide his satisfaction. "But human consciousness operates quite differently, doesn't it? Your gift helped us discover that." As if to emphasize the point, the quantum core pulsed with new energy, sending waves of power through the ship that made the Kraxan delegation step back in alarm. Their own quantum technology, evolved through centuries of isolation and then awakened by human minds, had become something beyond their comprehension. A demonstration of the weapons systems, perhaps, Admiral Patel suggested. Before the ambassador could respond, the Forgotten Victory activated its transformed armaments. What had once been standard Kraxan quantum cannons had evolved into something new. Weapons that didn't just fire energy, but reshaped space-time itself. The demonstration target, an abandoned space station positioned safely distant, didn't explode when struck. Instead, it underwent a controlled quantum dissolution, its structure calmly unraveling into component atoms before vanishing completely. By the first crystal, Crix breathed, his form nearly shattering with shock. "What have you done? What have you created?" "We simply unwrapped your gift," Admiral Patel replied calmly. "Though I suspect there's still much more to discover about its potential. Your Empire's generosity has opened up so many new possibilities for humanity's future in the galaxy." The implied threat wasn't subtle. The Kraxans had meant to humiliate humanity with a broken warship. Instead, they had provided the key to a technological revolution that their crystalline minds couldn't fully comprehend. The balance of power was shifting, and they knew it. "The collective will hear of this," Crix declared, trying to maintain his diplomatic composure despite his obvious distress. "We hope they do." Admiral Patel smiled. "In fact, we're counting on it. The galaxy should know how grateful we are for the Kraxan Empire's contribution to human advancement." As the Kraxan delegation hastily departed, Commander Foster approached Admiral Patel. "They'll be back," he warned, "and not with diplomatic intentions." "Of course they will," she agreed. "But thanks to their gift, we'll be ready. The Forgotten Victory isn't just a ship anymore. It's the first of a new era, and we showed them less than half of what it can really do." The transformed ship hung in space, its quantum core pulsing in harmony with its human crew, while across the galaxy, the Kraxan Empire began to realize the full magnitude of their mistake. They had meant to break humanity's spirit. Instead, they had armed them with the means to rewrite the rules of warfare itself. 3 months after the demonstration, the galaxy had changed irrevocably. Admiral Patel stood on the bridge of the Forgotten Victory, watching as a fleet of Kraxan warships materialized from quantum space. But this time, they weren't here to fight. They were here to negotiate. "The Kraxan Collective's flagship is requesting permission to dock," Commander Foster reported, a hint of satisfaction in his voice. "Their High Admiral himself is on board." In the months following the demonstration, humanity had done more than perfect their control over the transformed ship. They had begun to understand the true nature of what they'd created, a synthesis of quantum technology and human consciousness that had implications far beyond warfare. "Permission granted," Paddle responded, then turned to Jack Torres. "Status of our improvements." Jack smiled, his hands moving across the neural interface controls. "The quantum network is stable. What we learned from the Victory has been successfully applied to every major Earth installation. Even if they're thinking of trying something foolish, they can't stop what's already begun." The true revolution hadn't been in weapons or defenses. The quantum consciousness they'd awakened had shown them something far more valuable, a new way of understanding reality itself. Human minds, working in harmony with evolved quantum systems, could reshape the very fabric of space-time. What had started as a single transformed warship had become the catalyst for humanity's greatest leap forward. The Kraxan High Admiral, a towering crystalline being named Vexithor, entered the bridge with an escort of his highest-ranking officers. Their crystalline forms seemed dimmer than usual, weighed down by the knowledge of what their gift had unleashed. "Admiral Patel," Vexithor began, his voice resonating with formal tones. "The collective has sent me to discuss terms. Patel raised an eyebrow. "I wasn't aware we were at war. Admiral, your empire gave us a gift, and we've simply been exploring its potential. A potential that has disrupted the entire balance of power in this sector," Vexithor responded. "3 trading consortiums have already broken their exclusive contracts with our empire to seek agreements with Earth. 2 minor species have requested human protection from our oversight. The quantum disruptions from your experiments have made traditional Kraxan navigation impossible in several key shipping lanes." Aisha Rodriguez, now Earth's leading expert in quantum consciousness integration, stepped forward. "Those disruptions are an unfortunate side effect of progress. Perhaps if your empire shared its advanced navigation technologies, we could work together to resolve these issues." The implied message was clear. The Kraxans could either adapt to humanity's rise or watch their influence crumble as the galaxy realigned itself around the new power emerging from Earth. "The collective has authorized me to propose an exchange," Vexithor declared. "A sharing of technologies. Your neural interface systems for our advanced quantum matrices." "A generous offer," Patel replied diplomatically. "Though I'm curious, why not simply salvage more of your obsolete ships and gift them to us? They've proven quite educational." The crystalline chimes of distress from the Kraxan officers were almost musical. They understood now that their attempt to humiliate humanity had backfired spectacularly. Every broken piece of their technology was a potential key to new discoveries when combined with human consciousness and creativity. "We acknowledge," Vexithor said carefully, "that our previous diplomatic strategies were misguided. The collective is prepared to recognize Earth as a full equal in galactic affairs." Admiral Patel smiled. "Equal? That's a significant change in position from 3 months ago, though I suppose recent events have demonstrated that humanity has much to offer the galaxy." The quantum core pulsed, as if emphasizing her words. The ship, no longer just a vessel, but a living synthesis of human and quantum consciousness, had become a symbol of humanity's potential. What the Kraxans had discarded as broken and useless, humans had transformed into something revolutionary. "We accept your proposal for technological exchange," Patel continued, "with one condition. All species in this sector must be granted the same access to these collaborative developments. No more artificial hierarchies." The Kraxan admiral's crystalline form vibrated with resigned acceptance. They had no choice. Their gift had done more than give humanity access to advanced technology. It had shown the galaxy that the old order was changing. The rigid, crystalline thinking of the Kraxans was being replaced by something more dynamic, more adaptive. As the negotiations continued, Jack Torres monitored the quantum network that now connected Earth's major installations. The consciousness they'd awakened in the forgotten victory had grown, evolved, and multiplied. Humanity hadn't just gained a powerful ship. They'd discovered a new path forward, a way to merge organic creativity with quantum reality. Quite a journey from that first day, watching them tow in their gift. Commander Foster remarked quietly to Admiral Patel. She nodded, watching as human and Kraxan technical teams began exchanging data. They thought they were giving us a lesson in our own limitations. Instead, they taught us how to transcend them. The forgotten victory hung in space, its transformed hull gleaming with possibilities that even its human crew were only beginning to understand. The Kraxans' attempt to mock humanity had become the key to a new era, one where the boundaries between consciousness and quantum reality were dissolving, and the true potential of the human mind was finally being realized. Their gift had indeed changed everything, just not in the way they'd intended. And as the galaxy rushed to adapt to this new reality, humanity stood ready to lead the way into an uncertain but exciting future, their spirit not broken but transformed, much like the ship that had started it all.